Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by as we talk about something today that's so real to me and possibly to you too. We're just gonna share and as we learn, crawling out of debt. I don't know if this is for you, but this is for me. My journey to overcome debt. These are some of the lessons that I've learned along the way, and they're too good to keep to myself, so I have to share them with you. So let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Debt is not a must. We're living in a time now where everything is all about your credit score, having good credit. You have to borrow, you have to raise it. But the reality of it is there are alternative ways where you can go without having to have debt. The reality of it is that yes, there are times when you need a loan, you need to borrow some money to get out of some situation or so, but you are made to feel sometimes as if, oh, there's nothing you can do without having debt. I remember in my earlier times, I got that bit of advice that you have to have debt, and I took it and I ran with it, and now I can tell you it's not a must. There are alternatives that we have to learn from even early stages where it steers us away from debt. Even so, we can use debt as a tool, but it's not a must. Lessons 2 and 3. Debt is a trap, very easy to get into and very hard to get out of. Debt only benefits the creditor. That person or entity is the only real winner in the situation. You are the one that took their money, borrowed their money, and you now have to pay it back with interest. So they earn while you learn. Lesson number 4. You can change, you can move from the situation, but change is possible. You have to decide, you have to make up your mind, you have to decide to pivot. Make up your mind to stop and get out of debt. Stop borrowing, because the more you borrow, the further you're digging yourself into the hole of debt. So stop borrowing. This might not be easy when you've made a habit of borrowing, but you have to make up your mind. You're going to stop. Start the hard process of getting out of debt. This now brings you to the point where you realize that your attitude and your mindset, that is what is going to determine how far and how fast you get out of the debt situation that you are in. It starts with a made-up mind. That's what's going to propel you out of debt. Lesson number 6. Be intentional. The only way out is to fight your way out. Step by step, you're going to have to figure out how to get out of this. As I said before, it's easy to get into, very easy to get into debt, but it's hard. You're gonna have to make steps how you're going to come out one step at a time. Lessons number 7 and 8. You have to research and determine what is best for your situation. There's not this big blanket answer. You have to sit down now and look and see what is best for my situation. How big is my debt? How fast and how much can I get out of this? What steps do I need to take as an individual to get out of this? This is where you're going to now start. Set goals for yourself. Look at what you need to do. Be honest and be true with yourself to say what you want to do, how you're going to get out of it. You're going to have to face some hard truths and answer some hard questions as honestly as you can, because you cannot lie to yourself at this point. You have to get out. Then now you call on some persons for help. When you say calling on persons, it don't necessarily mean you have to go to somebody and say, oh, I need to help me out of this. No, you research. As for me, I did my research. I realized I was in a situation. I did my research. What do people have to say about debt and getting out of debt? Do your research. Go online, see what other persons have done. Tailor it to your situation. Then you find persons who are wiser than you, persons who may have been where you are before and have gotten out, who are experts in the field, who know a thing or two about getting over debt. Now, you also need to call upon somebody who is going to keep you accountable. Somebody you're not asking for handouts, you're not asking for anybody to pay your bills, you're asking for somebody to help to keep you accountable, keep you in line to accomplish what you have set for yourself. Lesson number 9. Adjust to new normals. This in itself is a process, because now you have to start new habits. You have to break old habits, start new habits. First thing you have to learn to do is to live below your means. Now, this simply means learn to live on less than what you earn, because it's a whole new ball game. Learn to live on less than what you earn. Spend less, expect less. Learn to enjoy less. Practice what is called a delayed gratification. You see something, you want it, you say you want it. Now ask yourself, do you really need it? Do you really want it now? Give yourself a few weeks to say, all right, do I really need it? Is it so urgent that I have to get it now? If not, leave it for a couple of weeks. If in a couple of weeks you still need it, fine, get it. But delayed gratification, put it off a little more. See if you can do without it. With this process of overcoming debt, you have to learn that you have to make sacrifices. The vacations every year, the new trends, spending on this, spending on that, you have to make the sacrifice. Remind yourself that, listen, I have to get out of this situation. I cannot dig myself into the hole any deeper. Make some sacrifices. Yes, you have to eat. Yes, you have to live. Yes, you have to do things. But the extra spending, no, make the sacrifice to get out of debt first. Get yourself in line, get yourself aligned, get out of debt. This brings us directly into lesson number 9. You have to be diligent. You have to practice responsibility. You have to develop the willpower to do this. This is something that you have to do, and nobody can do it for yourself. You're not looking for a miracle to get you out of a situation that you got yourself in. You have to get yourself out. We are crawling. We are taking the necessary steps to come out of this debt. All right, now lesson number 10. Now, this might have been what part of the most important things that I have learned. You have to organize and you have to strategize. Now, after the research that I would have done and some of the things that I would have learned, I learned that you have to put some things in place. You have to make the plans. You have to develop certain frameworks and systems that you are going to use. As I said, you tailor this for your situation. Do what works for you. Get the tools that you need to use. The resources there are there. In my case, I used what other persons had, and I developed a system for myself, a budgeting system and budgeting tools that I had to use for myself to organize and strategize how I'm going to come out of this debt situation that I'm in. And then you learn budgeting. It's the next lesson. You learn that's your best friend. That's your best option. You have to budget. Every dollar must know where it must go, and you have the authority to send every dollar where it must go. Pay what need to be paid, spend what need to be spent, but you tell your money where to go. Keep an account of every cent that you earn, pay, and spend. Make payment logs and keep records of your progress as you go along. For me, I use spreadsheets monthly. Show me everything that I use in the month, everything that I spend in the month. It may take time. It will take time. It will take effort. But in the end, it helps. Make payment logs to keep records of your progress. You can see as you go along what you are doing and how much further you need to go, how far you have come already, right? Make it visual. Make it accessible. Yes, you can use your phone. If you want to write it down, pen and paper still works. Make it visual, make it accessible so you can see it and access it when you need to, so you can know what you are doing. Keep yourself on track. Lesson number 14. As you are en route to digging yourself out of debt, life still goes on. Life is still happening. We still have to prepare. We still have to plan, because even after death, there's still life after death. Seek opportunities to earn and to invest, even while you're paying off your debt. Again, this will be unique to you. How fast, how much, that's all depending on your personal situation and how best you can do it. But just know, even as you're doing it, there is life after death, so plan for it just the same. Lesson number 15. And this is where I just have to keep it real. This is life. This is real life. This is sometimes your very best will look like the bare minimum or even less than that. Sometimes you can barely make your premiums. Sometimes you can barely find it to make ends even meet. but you just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep going. Have to keep knowing that slow progress is better than no progress. In some cases, you might even find that you relapse one way or another. You might look in a loan to pay off another loan. But the point is, keep it real. Keep going. Keep going. If you have to start all over again, start again, but keep going. This is where it becomes important for you to know and remember that you need to focus on it one step at a time to keep going. I've learned the saying that says focus on the step that is in front of you and not the whole staircase. Keep going one step at a time. You know the thing about all of this too? After all is said and done and I found myself in this situation, I learned what the Word of God had to say about debts. Did you know that God has so much to say about getting in debts and avoiding debt? Well, I learned that. And I also learned that He has been the one guiding me throughout this process, and He has been, and I'm trusting in the miracle to come. A miracle to overcome debt soon and soon enough. So with all that said, and at the end of it all, these are the lessons that I've learned. And as I said, I'm still learning to overcome as I crawl my way out of debt, still trusting in the process, still holding on, still keeping the vision. I hope you would have learned something. I hope it can help your situation. If it did, then please leave me a comment to let me know. I'm still open to learning, so I can learn from you too. Share the information with somebody who you think needs to know it too. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.